Good evening and welcome to Turner Classic Movies. I'm Dave Karger. Yesterday we wrapped up 31 days of Oscar, but tonight the celebrations continue as we mark what would have been the 100th birthday of one of the most influential comedians of the 20th century, Jerry Lewis. Born Joseph Levitch on March 16, 1926, Lewis grew up in a family of vaudevillians, and by the time he was a teenager, he had developed a popular act of his own. His popularity soared in 1946 when he joined forces with Dean Martin, whose cool, debonair style proved to be the perfect foil for Lewis's over-the-top antics. After skyrocketing to fame as a comedy team in nightclubs, on the radio, and on television, Martin and Lewis took their act to Hollywood and co-starred in 16 comedies between 1949 and 1956. They split up after a decade as a comedy duo and both went on to have successful solo careers. Jerry Lewis reached the peak of his career in the 1960s when he began writing and directing his own films, including the landmark 1963 comedy The Nutty Professor, which we'll be showing here on TCM later tonight. But by the end of the decade, moviegoers' tastes had changed, and Lewis found his unique brand of comedy going out of style. Up first tonight is a film Lewis made later in his career, a dark comedy directed by Martin Scorsese. From 1983, it's The King of Comedy. Robert De Niro stars as Rupert Pupkin, a wannabe stand-up comedian who's deluded himself into believing that one appearance on a late-night talk show would be enough to propel him to stardom. To achieve this goal, he stalks one of TV's top talk show hosts, played by Jerry Lewis. If you've only seen Jerry Lewis in his earlier manic comedies, you're in for a surprise. Under Scorsese's direction, he delivers a remarkably subdued, dramatic performance. From 1983, also with Sandra Bernhard, here is The King of Comedy. Robert De Niro bought the King of Comedy script, which was written by Paul Zimmerman, and took it to Martin Scorsese. De Niro had done a similar thing a few years earlier when he convinced Scorsese to make Raging Bull, which won De Niro the Best Actor Academy Award. In casting the role of the talk show host, Scorsese originally hoped to get Johnny Carson, who was the model for the character. Carson turned it down, and Scorsese began considering other options, including Frank Sinatra. Thinking about Sinatra and his Rat Pack pals led Scorsese to consider Dean Martin and finally Jerry Lewis. Lewis read the script and thought it was excellent, and he told Scorsese from the beginning that he was ready to get to work and do whatever he was asked to do. He turned out to be terrific to work with, Scorsese said. Lewis echoed that sentiment, adding, "It was a wonderful experience." Up next, Jerry Lewis gives the definitive performance of his career in a 1963 comedy that he also co-wrote and directed.
Next on TCM, The Nutty Professor, then The Bellboy, and later, Artists and Models. Jerry Lewis is in vogue tonight.